Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I have two very special guests with me. They're back again. I know y'all like the episode prior when they were just going back and forth, and it was just amazing. So we got to do it again. I got my cousin Ron and Miss Monica Meeks back on the podcast. How y'all doing?
Hello, hello, hello.
Man, I'm doing well, man. Happy to be here. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good, man. Doing good. How about you?
Man, I won't complain. Another day. Happy to be alive.
I hear that.
Happy to be seen and not viewed.
Okay, now.
So, Monica, what you drinking on this evening?
So one of my veteran sisters gave this to me some months back. So it's my first time trying it. It's called Craft Cannabis Lemon Haze Lemonade. So if I start acting crazy, then you know it's because of this thing that she gave me, and I'm just now trying.
Okay.
Y'all are frozen.
No, we ain't frozen. We're trying to figure out what that is.
We watch you with this big Capri Sun.
It's a lemon haze lemonade craft cannabis. A cannabis cooler. My first time trying it, so that's what I'm trying tonight.
Okay. Cuz, what you drinking on this evening?
And I had to go back to what I love, man. Fiore vodka. I'm sorry, Fiore hemp infused vodka.
Okay, got some vodka this evening. I'm taking a light this evening, man. I ain't really doing much. I just went to the fridge, just grabbed a bottle of Smirnoff. That's why I'm just taking it light this evening.
Oh, okay.
So, because this topic, man, I know this is I asked both of you to come on. Actually, shout out to Ron because I brought this up. Well, he asked to come back on. I said this is what I'm going to talk about. He said he's ready for it. I know, Monica, you ready for this? So we got to talk about Caitlin Clark, WNBA. For y'all don't know, the WNBA season has started this week. Of course, it drew a lot of viewers, sometimes first-time viewers for the WNBA, everything like that. But Caitlin Clark, obviously, is the headliner this week with the WNBA season starting. And of course, you got the haters out there who's speaking their mind. Before we get into that, just let y'all know how Caitlin Clark did in her first ever WNBA game. So she played against the Connecticut Sun. She had 20 points, 10 turnovers. It was a bad game. Obviously, we all know rookies in every sport go through a transitional period, try to figure out the pro level and everything like that. If you know about Caitlin Clark's game, you know she's always been a high turnover player, so that doesn't shock me whatsoever. Just now her flaws is going to be pointed out a little bit more on the pro level. But this game has been a highest viewed game since 2001 with 2.3 million viewers. And a lot of people, they wanted to see how Caitlin Clark was going to hold up. I don't know if you guys saw the game or whatnot. If you're not, I could just give you my feedback on the game and how I think how she performed. Ron, did you see the game?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I watched the highlights.
Okay. What about you, Monica? Did you see the game?
John, I did not. I don't want to watch Caitlin Clark play. I guess I'm one of those haters you mentioned earlier. So let's get that out the way.
Well, why you don't want to see Caitlin Clark play?
She's boring to me. She's not a defensive player. And let me put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a fan of the WNBA. And I know that that's really sad for me being a woman that's all about empowering other women. Now, I did go to a WNBA game when one of my fellow Lakewood Leopards, Chastity Melvin, she played for the Cleveland Rockets in 2000 from 1990. I think she played like 14 seasons, but I was stationed in Cleveland. So I went to see her play. That's the only game I've ever seen. WNBA wise, now I'm gonna watch LeBron as much as I can, but WNBA wise, that's the first and last game I've ever watched. That's WNBA, and it was empty, and we left before the game was over because it was like, oh, yawn, this is kind of boring. But I'm just not interested in the great white hype that is Caitlin Clark because she's not a good defensive player.
Well, we'll get into that one in a second. But for my uh just for me watching the game, I watched the game until it was like, all right, the game was already settled. You know, they got blown out by 20 points, 21 points to be exact, which I kind of expected because the Fever was the worst team in the league last year. You know, this year they're bringing all the attention because of Caitlin Clark. They have 36 national games and stuff like that.
Awesome.
So, and with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, now the WNBA are going to have charter flights, which they probably should have had a long time ago. But obviously, we know money wise, they really couldn't do it. So, but to your point, I knew Caitlin Clark couldn't play defense. I saw it. She was getting backdoored. She was the deer in headlights on the defensive end. Um, obviously, with girls are the players in the WNBA, they're a little bit bigger, they're a little stronger, faster, and stuff like that. So this is what they do for a living. Caitlin Clark coming from college, where priority is supposed to be school, and then basketball second. But you know how things go. You know, probably they got somebody doing their work for them. So they've been doing it for a very long time. Do I think she's going to get better? Absolutely. I think she will. She will adapt to the game. Probably whoever their coach is will um, use her in a way kind of like Steph Curry, not have him on the ball as much, have him come off screens and things like that. But for the first game, I mean, I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't these type of people out there thinking she was going to put up a 30 piece and, have like 10 assists and 5, 6 rebounds and think. No, because she didn't even have time. You gotta understand, the rookies come in, they don't even have time to really get prepared for the WNBA. Really, that's what a lot of people don't understand. They got about a couple of weeks. They get
Well, she
drafted.
should have been preparing for it for her whole life. She's been playing basketball a long time. Her
But
goal
it's
was
a
to be professional, right?
yeah. But you gotta think the difference between the WNBA and the NBA is this: once the college season is over, they got all this months to prepare for training camp, right? So they have that advantage. So they could be in the weight room, they could work on their game, strictly focus on basketball. The women come in, they only got a couple of weeks. Once they get drafted, they are basically going to training camp. Then you got the preseason, like right after that. So they trying to get used to the pro game a lot sooner than they're really prepared for. But you had a couple of rookies who kind of struggled their first game. Angel Reese is one of them, but that is how it is. Now, we're gonna start with you, Monica. You said that you're a Caitlin Clark hater
Well,
because he don't play.
you kind
You
of put
said
me in that category.
I never said I. All right, so technically I never said that. I just asked you. We like to come on to talk about how some of the current players and some former players were hating on Caitlin Clark, right? Obviously, if you want to talk about the basketball aspect of it, you could do it. We all know they have a transitional period, but some of them are kind of. I mean, they hating on the fact that she's bringing all this attention. She hasn't played one game in the WNBA yet. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I will say, in the words of Harrison Buckner, Butthurt, don't fall for the diabolical lies of the mainstream media when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Because she never won a championship as a college player. She's a great 3-point shooter. She made history. She checks a lot of boxes, but I forgot who the lady was that said, now you getting ready to play with some grown A women.
Uh, is either
It's like,
Cheryl. either Cheryl Swoops or Diana Taurasi. One of
I
those two
think it
said
was
it.
Diana, but she was like, now okay, you did well in college. You didn't win a championship, but you about to play with some grown women. So I don't like the fact, and you might get into this later on, I don't want to jump ahead of you, that, NWA, Ice Cube, who's always putting his foot in his mouth, you gave this girl $5 million to play 8 games with all the phenomenal Black women that are playing in the WNBA. So the narrative is, oh, now that Caitlin Clark was number 1 draft, that everybody's going to start watching the WNBA. And it's a lot of pressure that people have put on her, but I have girlfriends, sister veterans that have been fan way before. They watched Dawn Staley in college. They have always been fans of the WNBA. I got a girlfriend that drives down to Vanderbilt. I'm like, girl, what you going to watch? She loves college basketball, loves the WNBA, has always been a fan. So for us just to make it seem like now that this young lady from Iowa is playing and making all these records that everybody's going to flock to the WNBA and support, it's just a diabolical lie, just like, Harrison said. We can't believe the lies of mainstream media when it comes to these things.
What you think?
I think Monica don't know how to count. So let me help Monica out with a little math. First of all, let me take a sip. Let me help out with a little math. Now, before I get started, let me put this caveat out there. I'm not a Caitlin Clark fan. To me, she is talented, but I'm not a fan. With that being said, Caitlin is doing numbers. And I understand why there could be some frustration from former WNBA players, current WNBA players, etc. There wasn't as much hype around. Don Stanley was a great player. Cheryl Swoops, what's my girl name? Played for UT, Candace
Candace
Parker.
Parker.
There have been some great players that have come through the WNBA. But there wasn't a lot of fanfare around them. They just did not do the numbers. Caitlin's doing numbers. Like it, love it, or hate it. She's the draw. Now, a lot of that is misplaced, and I don't want to get ahead of the conversation because I'm sure we'll probably touch on that later on, but she's the draw. I mean, Nike gave her $28 million.
And her shoe came out already, did it?
Yep.
Think so.
So, you got a lot of especially one current player, um, Asia Wilson, Las Vegas Aces, right? To me, she's the best player in the WNBA.
She sure is.
Okay. And she basically pointed out that race is a big factor in this, right? Yeah, you could say that. I mean, race is a big factor in this. Also, too, could it be going back to college, right? Because Ron mentioned this. I don't think a lot of people didn't bring this up. When you look at all the other great players, you look at the schools that they went to, right? Connecticut, Tennessee, South Carolina. What else? USC. A lot of these great women's programs where they just, roll out great college players, but when they go to the league, they don't take those, fans with them. But when it comes to Iowa, you know, Iowa to me is it's basically in the middle of nowhere. And they have a great college fan base. Y'all know their sports team, they support their sports team through and through. Obviously the football team, they gonna sell out. And of course the women's basketball team. And I've seen some players come out of Iowa from the men's team as well. How do y'all feel about the the race factor that plays a part in all of this?
I personally hate the fact. No, Monica, you go ahead, please.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron. You already started.
I personally hate the fact that the race factor has overshadowed the game and her talent. She's in Iowa. Iowa's in the heartland of America. So all of these fans who are against woke culture, they love her. They love her. They love the fact that she beat Angel Reese because they feel like Angel Reese is a thug. They labeled Angel Reese a villain. Why is she a thug? Because she has long hair? Because she has eyelashes? What makes her a thug? Because she taunted Caitlin Clark, just like Caitlin Clark taunted whatever team they beat.
Was it South
Not
Carolina?
South
this season, but last. Yeah. Just like
Carolina.
Caitlin Clark taunted South Carolina in the semifinals. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's sad that we live in a country where everything is predicated by race, unfortunately. But it is what it is. America is a racist country.
What about you,
Facts.
Monica? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I agree
No,
with
go ahead, Monica.
my brother Ronald tonight. Iowa is the white. I know he's surprised. He got a drink on that. Go ahead and get your sip on. Iowa is the whitest state in America. It's 88.5, I think, percent white. And I don't know that they don't have any professional teams. So race is a factor. If you listen to the music last year that Iowa was playing versus the music that LSU team was playing, it was unlike what Auntie Gail was saying. We all were rooting for Caitlin. No, ma'am, what? We were not all rooting. We were rooting for Dawn Staley. We wanted her to have an undefeated season. So race is a factor. I agree with Aja. It's the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about.
Let's stay right there for a minute. Now, go ahead.
Oh, she reminds me a lot of, remember, I know y'all are probably huge basketball fans. Remember Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson?
Yeah,
It
that
gives me
started in
that
college.
same racial divide. Like, if you for the culture, then you have to be for whoever Caitlin Clark is playing against. So, of course, South Carolina, one of the blackest state in America. We got to go for South Carolina. LSU, I had just went to LSU to my nephew's graduation. I don't like LSU like that, but I was like, oh, what's this young lady, Angel Reese? That's the first game I ever watched on TV, was LSU versus Iowa. Because I was like, on my timeline, all these Iowans, because this is a military town. Like, what is going on with this Caitlin Clark? But I was rooting for Angel Reese just because I'm like, oh, why y'all? Because there were a lot of people that claim they're for the culture and rooting for everybody black that were actually rooting for Caitlin Clark. And I was like, make that make sense. Oh, okay. Is she the underdog? So, yeah, race is a factor. News media is a problem, a huge problem, even in how they report. I filed a complaint. Actually reached out. My son calls me the Black Karen. I reached out to Channel 5 News when South Carolina won, because the thumbnail they used was a picture of Caitlin Clark. This was right after the championship. Dawn Staley had an undefeated season. Lost 5 of her players, had to start all over, and y'all have a picture of Caitlin Clark, and South Carolina won. Like, they took it down, they changed it, but it's like, the news media is a problem, but race is definitely a factor. I know people are tired of talking about race. I'm tired of talking about it, but it's a factor that we cannot ignore, because it makes us uncomfortable to have those conversations.
Well, you want to comment?
Unfortunately, they had to make her the draw because she's the focus of the marketing. And I disagree with it as well. I commented on social media, like, you got a picture of the loser up here, but they wanted people to click on the thumbnail, so that's where they had to focus. But
Right.
Back to Gayle King. Was Gayle King talking about all of Black America, or did Black people feel like she was talking about all of Black America?
She said
All she
we.
said was we.
Who
She
is we,
didn't.
Gail? You and
She
Oprah?
didn't say.
You, Oprah, and Stedman?
Probably so, and that's okay.
No.
Stedman's definitely a South Carolina fan. But I mean, but that's the we. I mean, who's the we that she's talking about? She
I just
never
told you.
specified all of. She's not. So why do we take it as when she said we? Why did we, America, as her saying Black America? Why do we do that?
Because Gail has a platform and she's best friends with Oprah Winfrey. So when you say we, then those people who say, I don't dislike Black people because I like Gail, then you do become the face of the race. And that means you get to be our spokesperson. So, Gail said we like Gail. We like Oprah. So she said we, that must mean the culture. No, ma'am. Even Beyonce came out and said, we were rooting for Dawn Staley, and me and my family was watching Dawn Staley. Right after Oprah, right after Gail Kale said that.
Yeah, I had that.
You call her Gail Kale.
Auntie Kale, she green and slimy.
I said the same thing.
That's a whole.
One of my.
That's a whole nother show.
Look, let me trigger y'all as Black men. Robert.
That didn't trigger me. Why would that trigger me? No, why would that trigger me?
For her to be the, like, you have not interviewed Epstein, you all these other alleged predators, and I stopped listening to R. Kelly. I have muted him. But for you to be asking him these questions and then Robert.
You act like y'all act like Gail chose the interview. See, this is going to a whole nother show. We're gonna get back to Kaylin in just a minute. I promise you.
Go ahead.
But you act like he didn't interview Weinstein. CBS hasn't interviewed Harvey Weinstein. And she had a job that she had to do. So would you rather R. Kelly get interviewed by her or by Dan Brokaw?
Is he still alive?
No, but that was just the first person I thought of. The first one I thought was Walter Cronkite, and I know he gone.
He gone.
Or George Stephanopoulos. Is that right? Well, y'all know what I'm talking about. So would you rather him get interviewed by Gail or by somebody that's white?
I would rather him be interviewed by somebody that's white, because they were saying when Auntie Gail was so calm, they was like that she was mirroring how Black women should act in the workplace. What? Because she was Robert. That ain't, because sometimes, Michelle have to show up. So she's not gonna be calm, cool, and collective. So for them to react to her interview by saying, see, Black women, y'all do know, because we didn't know what Robert was gonna do to her, and she was so calm and she remained in her chair. So,
but I mean, look at it from this perspective. Flip side of that coin is anybody else sitting in that chair probably wouldn't have been able to handle that. Robert was acting a fool.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He was acting a fool. So do you think somebody else would have been able to handle that like she did?
Maybe Brian Gumbel back in his day.
Oh, Donald. Who?
You talking about Brian Gumbel or Greg Gumbel? Yeah. Which one?
Maybe
Brian.
so.
Brian, not the sports guy.
No.
They were technically both sports guys.
Greg would have.
Oh, well, Brian, he did more of it. Seemed like he did more.
Greg would have got up and ran out.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely.
O'Donnell, who hosts the CBS Evening News, do you think she would have been able to handle that? You think she would have been able to sit there and Robert? No, she would have called security.
Yep.
So the person that interviewed him was the person that needed to interview him. They had to come out and redo his makeup and everything else. Man, he was clowning on that. But I digress. Let's get back to Caitlin. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Let's talk about our girl Caitlin.
Yeah,
CC.
so she I agree with both of you
Yo,
guys.
yo
She
girl.
they yeah, I was upset too. After the national championship game, I said on one of my previous episodes how they have a thumbnail of Caitlin Clark, but not the picture of the actual winners, right? I'm I never seen somebody get so much love for losing a big game. Like I've never seen that in my life. I mean, they kill LeBron James if he loses in the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? But then you're gonna praise Caitlin Clark because she took a team to a national championship
Twice, back to back, and lost both times.
twice. But check this out, cuz you remember this when Butler on the men's side, they went to back-to-back national championships. The first year, it was a Cinderella story, right? But they lost. Nobody talked about them. The very next year, they brought back their starting five. They went back and they lost again. Nobody talked about them. So, and Butler's in it's in Indiana. So why would I get it. You need clicks, you need views. I understand that part. But don't sit there and just be like, well, the winners don't matter. They do matter. They won. They're the champions. Okay. Queen has a song say we are the champions.
Yeah.
They ain't got no time for losers. Okay.
No time for losers.
But yet, she's garnering all this attention. I get it. The media has a narrative that they gotta push, right? Probably they in cahoots with the WNBA to push that
They
narrative.
are.
Because we all know the WNBA needs this. We
It
get
does.
it. They need it. But at the same time, you can't discredit those who have succeeded on that level. So obviously,
They're not
race does play
they're
some
not the
major
money.
part. That's what I said.
They're
That's what
not the money. Unfortunately, Caitlin Clark is the money maker. Hell, Ice Cube over the $5 million
For 8
it's,
games.
to play in
it's
the big three.
it's a business move.
Makes sense. Yeah,
That's why.
exactly. Because people in business, they make investments in hopes to get a return on their investment. She's the money.
Yeah,
Like it, love it, or hate it again. She's the money. She's the marketing strategy.
yeah,
Well, they
and you
say
got a
money
lot of
talks
people.
and BS walks. So
Yeah, and listen, like I said, a lot of players are not as marketable as they think they are. I think Aja Wilson could be very marketable and everything like that. I know she had her beef um with Nike in a sense because I guess they were developing her shoe, but yet they pretty much just rushed. Well, I'm not gonna say they rushed,
no, they
but
did. You can say it. It's the truth.
I mean, I would say probably in the last year or so but they worked on Aja's stuff a little bit longer, and her still ain't came out. So now people are like, well, she's the best player in the league. Why her shoe's not coming out, but you got Caitlin Clark? Well, there's a business thing. They're capitalizing on the momentum that she has right now. But
There it is.
the advantage, I think a lot of these players have to understand when the Fever is coming to play you, more than likely your game is going to be on national TV. So now you can show the world what you're really made of. And now you're going to start seeing like a lot of these casual fans, even the hardcore basketball fans, like, yo, this girl got game. We got to talk about her a little bit more. That girl got game. We should talk about her a little bit more. It's just a Caitlin Clark effect. She's great for business. She's definitely great for business.
There
And
it is. There it
you
is.
got you
That's
got
the best.
you got you got
Best way to
I
say
mean,
it.
what they just revealed the newest team in the WNBA, Golden State. They just did that. They're talking about bringing another team. No, you hearing talks about Toronto. I don't know why they want to bring Toronto into this, but personally, I think they should bring back the Houston Comets. That's just my opinion. They should bring that back. You know, with the legacy and all the great players that came through the Houston Comets, the first, I think, well, to me, the only dynasty that the WNBA has ever had. Bring that back because what you're doing is you're cutting all great players. I mean, if you look at their draft class, they drafted 36 people. Only 13 made rosters.
Right.
You know, so a lot of talent is being not being utilized in the WNBA. They got to go overseas, or you see one playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. So it's kind of like, hey, run with this. You ain't got to be a Caitlin Clark fan to understand that she's gonna get you paid. You ain't got to be a Caitlin Clark fan to understand that your CBA is up after this season. Guess what's going to happen? There's going to be more money coming to you because of her. So do what you got to do. Yeah, show out. We know she's not going to be the best player in the WNBA, but in terms of a business standpoint, she is the most valuable player that you have right now.
Right.
So we don't know how this season's going to play out. She just played one game. It was a bad game. You know, for any player, they'll tell you, hey, it's a bad game. 10 turnovers is a lot, right? But as the season goes on, is she going to progress? Possibly. You know, more than likely she will. Coaches make adjustments. Players make adjustments. You know, I think the best – to me, Caitlin Clark's not even the best player on the team. Aaliyah Boston is. She's their best player on the team. This is my opinion. But they're going to utilize her the way they're going to utilize her, probably, you know, take her off the ball, like I said before, but they want to make sure that she's shining in every game. Because when she shines, the league shines. And that's how you want it. Win, lose, or draw. That's the thing about it. They don't care if the team wins. They just care if she puts up good numbers. Keep the fans interested.
So I was watching a clip from a podcast, and I don't remember who was in it. I was just watching it this morning. Shout out to my boy Curtis Fletcher for sending that clip to me. But they were saying that it's in the WNBA's best interest, to protect the money. You saw that? But They were saying that, like, let her, like, don't play her as hard as they should. Let her get her points. Let her elevate, you know, let her shine, because it's going to be best for the WNBA, which is bullshit. I mean, why would you? That's rigging the game. Why would you rig the game just so it to be best for the business side of it? I mean, they're all competitors. This isn't a conglomerate where she's a business partner. This is professional basketball where she's on a team like everybody else, and everybody's vying for the same thing, to win the championship.
What they're going to do is they're going to let this year play out, right? They're going to see how she progressed during this year. Just like with the NBA, we all know the NBA changes its rules every year, right? You don't think they're not going to change a rule here and a rule there to give certain players an advantage? They're going to do that. So, no, I'm not saying, listen, go out there and compete. Is Caitlin Clark going to put up shots? Yes, that's what she's there to do, to put up shots. I guarantee you the ownership, the coach, the front office, all of them saying, no, she needs to put up shots. She got to take the most shots, which I think is stupid when the best player on the team is Aaliyah Boston. Again, she's a post player, but she's your best player. But we understand the business aspect of it. You know, don't go easy on her. But in the same time, they got to figure out how she can really shine on these national televised games. That's the big one.
They don't have to figure out anything. They ain't got to figure out shit. She got to figure it out.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me they didn't change the game for Steph Curry?
And they did. Oh, he don't want to talk about that. What, Ronald?
No, they did. I mean, hell, from what people say, I mean, y'all know I'm a Jordan fan. But what they say, they changed the rules for Jordan.
Yeah, but
But still,
the game was still physical
that's
when he was still playing.
not. I mean, it's not right.
We all know it's not right,
Yeah, that's
but we
true.
know we
That is
know it's
true.
business. It's business
It's a
by the end of the
business.
day. That's why I
But
said they're
she
gonna
should
see.
still want to. She should want to elevate her game. She should want
Yeah,
to stay in the film room and take 2,000 shots a day before or after practice and run suicides till she throw up and then run some more. Whatever she has to do to elevate her game, she should want to do that. If you change the rules to more visible, then not doing her you're not doing her any service, period. Because
I mean,
she's not going to work hard to get to the level that she needs to be.
They're
Like they say,
always
you in the
moving the goalposts.
WNBA, there's some grown ass women in the WNBA. Every time you go to another level, you gotta work hard. You gotta
Right.
elevate your game.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they
definitely.
always move the goalposts. I mean, this is nothing new. Now they're saying because we know who the percentage wise most educated American is. So now they're saying, well, you don't really need a degree. Let's go with experience. Like what? Because y'all told us we had to have A, B, and C, and now we
Mhm.
got A, B, C, and D. And you said, oh, don't worry about that degree. You don't need that. It's
What they
experience.
say.
Jim Bob been here for 50 years. Like what? We're gonna go ahead and promote Jim
That's
Bob over somebody with a graduate degree. Okay. So this is nothing new that they move the goalposts. And if it doesn't
okay.
make
But what does
money, if it
that
don't make
what does that graduate degree holder bring to the table? Jim Bob been there 50 years. Degree has This graduate degree holder's been there how long?
hey, at the beginning they said you need a degree because we didn't have them. So we was like, okay, then we'll work and get these student loans and get our degree. And then once we got them, guess what? You know what? Don't I need you to pay those student loans back, but don't worry about your degree because Jim Bob is your new boss. Like
Man, I
what?
know I know people I know people who are millionaires and dropped out of college.
Oh, most of the millionaires have dropped out of college. Some dropped
Yeah,
out of high school.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, if you want to talk about college degrees, in order to play in the WNBA, you have to have a college degree.
Really?
Yeah, you gotta be at least 22. No, no remaining college eligibility left. Even though this particular year was an exception because of the COVID year, so technically they could have went back for the fifth year, but they could forego that because they already completed the other requirements. But Gil, I don't know. Do you watch Gil Arenas podcast? Cuz, do you watch his podcast?
No. No. I've seen a couple
Absolutely
of
not. He's
clips here and there,
trash.
but I've never really watched it. Look at her.
So his podcast is very entertaining. Rashad McKenzie is the best thing on that podcast, personally. But he's Gilbert Arenas said something that was I agree with. These we can look at the NBA, right? These players come into the league, they have to at least be 1 year removed from high school to go into the draft. So they could do 1 year of college, 1 year in the G League, or some probably will go overseas for a year or whatever, go to a prep school without who knows, right? And when they bring them in, they pretty much already got this plans for them, right? The future stars, right? In the WNBA, you gotta wait until they're done with their college in order for them to come into your league. So the league, by the way it's designed, is not really for, in his mind, the younger talent, right? You got to capture that younger talent when the train is going. It's full of momentum, right? Because what happened? Let's just take was it not this past season, but the season before last when they lost against LSU. Let's just say if she was ready to come out that year, how much different it would be then. Not saying that it's not at its height right now, but even back then, how much different would it be? So
Can I say this too? So
yeah,
last year when you said how different would it have been, it was already different because the first lady, Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, wanted Caitlin Clark to come to the White House,
the White
even though she
House.
lost.
Yeah,
So it's always been different.
and that alone that kind of made me mad because I never heard,
That was
That was the
some
first time.
bullshit.
Nobody had ever heard it.
That was some bullshit. Well, I mean, isn't it all about good sportsmanship? Fuck out of here! You never heard
no,
of the second the team that lose get invited anywhere.
no, you never heard that.
Nope.
Not on the collegiate level, not on the pro
Never.
level.
So
So
You don't have two
so
number
if
ones.
I, so if LSU had lost, would she had invited LSU to the White House?
heck
And
no,
that's
she
what
wouldn't.
Angel Reese asked. Would it have been the other way around if we would have lost?
I'm gonna give Angel Reese a lot of credit because she's the unsung hero in all of this.
I agree. They have
She,
villainized this 22-year-old. She's a baby. Her brain's not even fully developed. They have villainized her since last year when she did the same thing that Caitlin Clark did when she did it. Oh,
Exactly.
this thug. Oh, she from Baltimore. Oh, her daddy ain't in her life. Like, where did all this come into? Why are y'all talking about the girl daddy? How did we get this because of a hand gesture?
because a lot of people don't watch sports, they don't understand how sports operate. They don't understand trash
Oh, they
talking
watch.
and all that stuff.
They watch sports. They know how sports operate. They know exactly what trash talking is. It's just cool when they do it, and it's a problem when we do it.
Uh-oh, say it again. Say that part again.
It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it.
Well, there you go. And like I said, that was the first game I ever watched on TV. I was like, okay.
You talking about
And it was trending on Twitter. It was like, this is a culture war. I said, wait, this is a basketball game. They said, this is a culture war. Pick your side.
They turned
yeah,
it into a cult. They turned it into a culture world.
Yeah,
it was Magic and Bird 2.0. That's what it
it really
was.
was.
That was worse than Magic and Bird 2.0. It was like Magic and Bird 2.0 was still respectable to some level, to
Yeah,
some
they really
degree.
Yeah,
And Bird was really a good player.
he can play, he can ball for
He
yeah,
was
sure.
really a good player. Bird was one of the. I think he was probably the first player I've ever seen who, if he's shooting the ball and falling, he's not going to break his shot to catch. The kind of he's
Racist
going to
fall.
stay in. Yeah, yeah. He ain't going to brace his fall shot. He going to still stay in shot mode, and wherever his body hit the ground, that's where it hit the ground.
Yeah,
Well, he
but that's how
cornbread.
that's how those players were built back then too. Stone had that mentality back
That's
then.
real.
And
Yeah, he from
also
Indiana.
French Lick, Indiana,
Yeah, that boy country's corn.
The
and
which is in the Midwest, which is in the heartland of America. So
That
it's
part.
funny how all of these certain players, I ain't gonna say all of these, but certain players that get this media attention are from the heartland of America.
Now, what does that tell you?
That it's all a ploy.
It's all a design, right? Divide and conquer.
It is.
mm-hmm.
I was trying to get me some tickets to the WNBA,
It
and I
is.
was like, they all sold out. Oh no! I said
Yep.
Chicago's not that far.
See,
Indiana's not that far.
but you were just saying yawn at the beginning of the podcast.
I mean, it's boring. I mean,
okay,
Angel Reese
but you trying to get tickets.
Because hey, I follow the trend. I go, but the coach said we got to go, so I'm gonna go support. Matter of fact, I need to get me a jersey, but I need it to be from legitimate, so Angel Reese gets a cup. So we
Whoever
follow. It's
gone
tribal.
to the WNBA is going to get a jersey. because you following the trend. You going where
No,
the
I
coaches
have
say
plenty
you
of
need to
LeBron
go.
James. I can show you. I have a bevy of
We know,
LeBron James jerseys. So I have jerseys, not
we know you have
WNBA.
a proclivity of purchasing LeBron James paraphernalia.
LeBron
We've
James.
already established that. That's another show.
And somebody brought this up too when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Her values and how she was raised, obviously conservative and all of that stuff. That played a
How
big
do
part.
how do
They
they know how conservative she is?
that's
Her
that's what
morals and
people bring.
values are. She could be
That's what they
getting.
bringing up.
She could be getting by a train of players as we speak. How?
Mute his mic. Mute it.
Hold on, it's hot. My mic hot right now. You better keep it on. This vodka kicking in.
I'm just
Cut
saying
that
what
part
they.
out.
I'm just saying what they saying.
They
I'm not
they
saying
say
that.
that
That's what they saying.
she's pure, she's wholesome, she's white. And wholesome she is. They don't know what Caitlin Clark has done in her life. They don't know who she's voted for. None of that. She's white and she's from Iowa. And that's another reason. And I pointed this out talking to some friends of mine a couple of days ago. That's another reason Nike gave her that money, because ever since Cap, Nike has lost some fans. They've lost some fans behind Nike being woke. But now you have this. Now you have this labeled conservative princes of the heartland. Now they on their way back because they. Yeah, I'm just saying, the darling of the heartland.
So let me ask you this question: we all know Caitlin Clark's from Iowa. If she didn't go to Iowa, right? Let's just say she went to Connecticut.
No. Would she be as popular? No.
She wouldn't.
She would not. No, she would not. Beckles, who played for Connecticut, is better than Caitlin Clark. The little blonde point guard who sat out all last year, most of last year.
With that injury, yeah.
Yeah. She's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was picked, 2 or 3 in the draft?
Something like that. She was top 5, I believe. She's the truth.
Yeah.
But she's not the media darling. Caitlin is the media darling. So no, wherever Caitlin Clark wouldn't have gotten as much publicity if she had gone anywhere else. USC, LSU, whatever. And that's not to diminish her talent. Again, she's talented. She can shoot the rock. She sucks at defense, but she can shoot that rock. She's going to shoot that rock 40 times a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said, she wouldn't have been as popular.
No. Like you said, it's the middle of America.
Yeah. They love her.
Yeah.
They love her. Like somebody called her the Great White Hype. I ain't calling no names.
I never heard that. I never heard that. All time I heard that was in the movie. That's the only thing I heard.
Oh, the movie Great White Hype?
Yeah. You're confused, ain't you?
No, that was a saying before the movie. 54 years old. So yeah, the Great White, that's slick what they thought Larry Bird was. A lot of folks gravitated to Larry Bird because, let's say, he's conservative. He's a good old boy.
Never mean any harm.
He's from French Lick, Indiana. And you got all these darkies out here, all these colors out here.
Not darkies in color.
No, I mean he's right though, because
who's
the
dominating the game.
He said darkies in color.
That's what he said, yeah.
They said. That's what they said. And they dominating the game. So here come Larry Bird from French Lick, Indiana. Shit. We're gonna hitch our wagon to him.
Not the wagons.
And you gotta remember too. You gotta remember before Magic and Bird got to the league, the NBA had a real big drug problem.
They sure did.
So you could tell in the way they try to change the image and everything. And obviously, you got Larry Bird from Indiana, of course, Magic Johnson from Michigan State. What they did in the national championship game. Because who came out first? Was it Magic or was it Bird that came out first? They didn't come out the same year. Well, they came out pretty much back to back years, I think. But you could tell, even back then, and look, Larry Bird is one of the greatest players of all. If y'all know
Agreed.
stories about him, y'all know he talked trash to everybody. He didn't care who you were. He fought everybody
Sure
that he
did.
possibly could. He got mad at the opposing coaches that put a white guy on him. So, he's the real deal truth. Even with former players, they tell stories about him.
Yep.
But you can't deny the fact that we hate to talk about race, but it does play a factor.
It's definitely a factor.
So we're and no. Here's the thing. I know some people out there who just hate everybody and hate everything. Want to see Caitlin Clark fail. Nobody wants to see her fail. We want to see every player in the league succeed. We do want to see more teams because we want to see more talent in the league. Stuff like that. But we gotta be obvious, right? She is great for business. She is great for business. And listen, she's not the first white player that's been in the league.
Nope.
You had other great white players that was in the league before her. The only difference is she comes with all this value with her, and as a WNBA, they're gonna continue to push that until they find somebody else.
Well, unfortunately, she's become the face of a race war unfairly. She didn't ask for that.
She
It
didn't.
is unfair. It is unfair to her.
I agree with that.
All she want to do
People,
is hoop.
That's all she want to do. Play ball. The thing is, I wish because there's a way to kind of counter the divisiveness. Her dad, she's always loved basketball. Well, they didn't have a girls basketball team, so her dad fought for her to play AAU. They made it to the last game, and it's like, oh, that's not. She played with the boys because they didn't have a girls team. Oh, that's not fair when she got almost to the end because she's a girl and this is a boys team. So she has a true love for the game. And it's like, share those stories of how hard it was for you just being a person that loves to play basketball that happens to be a woman. And in your early years, our folks were not trying to see you play with a bunch of boys. Like, tell more of that because it humanizes you. Don't just, well, I got $33 million and this is going to help all of us. Girl, what? So she would make herself more vulnerable and talk about the gender problems because, hey, she's a girl and she likes to hoop and she's good at hooping. All the things they did to her before she made it to college, the collegiate level. So she's got to humanize herself. And she can't do all of this and, not really acknowledge because she was like, oh, well, we're all going to get what we worth. Well, you already got yours, sis. Now I need you to call Reebok or Keds or British Knights, whatever shoe company, and get me a deal too, because you got yours.
You said British Knights?
Yeah, they don't make them no more, do they? Keds, I don't think they make them either.
I got to turn my phone. Y'all got to excuse me because of...
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But no, they
okay.
They
I had to put it on the charge.
You sideways.
Oh yeah, he's sideways.
I had to turn my phone. The person that runs this podcast, he does a fantastic job with editing, so he gonna fix it.
Okay.
He gonna get me right.
I'm gonna try. We're gonna see if we can get that fixed. But no, I'm be yeah, she definitely has to be a little bit more transparent and things like that, so they can actually stop all this other nonsense. Yeah, she got her endorsement deal. There was other players that got endorsement deals before her, just not on the level as her. But
Right.
by the end of the day, she's the voice. Like Ron said, she is the face of the league. She didn't ask for it. It's just what she came with. It's kind of funny though because when she talked about the charter flights, now the WNBA is going to put money in the charter flights, right? We know the WNBA players has been talking about the conditions of the weight room and you know obviously the travel, the we even had WNBA games get pushed to different venues for the men's college game. So it's like it's if one person could do that, then I'll say keep doing it. Keep using your voice to let people know these issues that's going on in the WNBA, right? And everybody else should, continue to echo what she's saying because now people start understanding, like, yeah, it's kind of unfair for us, but now you got somebody who can absolutely make that change to, help the league grow, not, you know, I mean, listen, we lost teams over the years,
Mm-hmm.
but now, listen, now they're talking about growing the league back up again. So who knows? Who knows? I heard Cheryl Swoops. And it's unfortunate too this year because I think they have to take a break. The WNBA season has to take a break because of the Olympics. Because a lot of their players are on the Olympic team, which is unfortunate. Is which I think Cheryl Swoops brought up. I mean, you really can't push the league back in terms of the schedule. Because if you push it back, I mean, obviously nobody watches NBA basketball until about Christmas anyway.
Right.
But you still got to compete with the NFL. You're not competing with the NFL. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just think that it's almost like Bronny James in a sense
Oh yeah.
with all the unfair attention he's getting, which
That
I
he
would
did
say.
look that he didn't ask for either.
And listen, I'm gonna be real with you. Bronny James, he's a good player, right? I'm glad he overcame his health scare. It was very serious. But can we just be honest about something? Who believed that he deserved to be a McDonald's All American? Not me. Not me. I don't think he believed it.
Do you know who his daddy is?
I don't care who his daddy is.
They use
It's
nepotism all the time. Why
and
can't we use it?
but you say that, right? You say that.
I can't argue with that.
I mean, you can't argue it, but
Got a
there was a
point.
player, there was a black player who was a top 20 player who could have used that platform to showcase his skills. I mean, Bronny James averaged 14 points per game in high school.
He's short too.
What that
Ready
mean?
to He's getting ready to get an NBA slot that some other deserving players should get, unfortunately. And I'm not
He
gonna
is.
act like he's good. Of course, the health scare did set him back. If it wasn't for the cardiac arrest and the issues with that, he we would probably see how good Bronny really is. But I mean, now the focus is, and again, he didn't ask for this, but the focus
He
is
did.
his daddy, and the fact that his daddy wants to be the first father to play with his son in the NBA.
And it's gonna happen. I've already told everybody in the house.
I mean,
And LeBron is
yeah,
gonna
that
retire.
it ain't
They're gonna draft him.
necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not.
No, they
Uh,
already
it's
announced
not a
it.
bad thing.
They're gonna draft him,
It's not.
and this will probably be LeBron's last year.
I think that's what I said to the family. And then after that, Bronny will drop out also.
Fade out in the sunset because
Yeah. I think Bryce is going to be better than Bronny.
Yeah, Bryce is
How old
already about.
Bryce?
It's
He's
like Serena versus
6.
Venus. The younger
Bryce is
one's going
about.
to outdo the older one because
Bryce is
he's
about
already what
16.
6'5".
No, he's about 6'7", 6'8".
Oh, he that tall, and he's only what 11th grade
Yeah.
because he graduates next year. Well, he's gonna be the one that we need to watch. We're gonna be like, Bronny, who? He's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's usually
The younger one.
the younger one, that's more talented. Y'all know about Giannis and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
The Nassus, I think he's the older brother. We all know why he got a spot in the league. So, I mean, I agree with Ron. I mean, if Giannis can do it, I mean, obviously LeBron can do it.
Right.
I mean, he's LeBron.
Clearly.
If not
Obviously,
LeBron, who?
so that just, I mean, I get it. You're a huge LeBron fan. I like LeBron too. But listen, we got to say this because I'm not on his payroll. I don't care. But let's just call it what it is. He get coaches fired. I'm just gonna call it what it is.
It's his team. Do you think Beyonce gets people fired too?
It's his team.
It's LeBron's team. The coach is just there. You gotta listen to LeBron
Coach
if you
is
want
just
to
a
win.
warm body.
That part.
Coach is
Remember the
just a
guy from
warm
Cleveland?
body.
When he brought the championship to Cleveland?
Ty Lue.
Yes. Remember, LeBron said, I knew if we were going to do something special whenever that coach said to LeBron, shut the F up. And LeBron said, because he's like, other coaches were not going to be able to say that to him. But for that guy to come and say, you know what, shut the F up. And he's like, he knew they were going to have a magical season. And they did. So you just have to listen to LeBron.
I mean, listen, he knew he was gonna have a magical season, especially when you got the league on your side.
Yeah.
So, that just
cut
how
that out, man. Don't start that, man.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. We all know Draymond Green said have not got suspended during that series.
What?
Yeah.
Please.
Did you see LeBron's
You can
eye?
edit that.
Yeah, cut that out. We ain't gonna let you get away with
Dre,
that.
yeah, you can edit that. Draymond Green has no business being in the league, period.
He doesn't.
Green
He
gets
has some
away with,
mental
how much
issues.
Draymond, yeah, they suspend him indefinitely. He come back, like a week or so later?
Yeah.
He had no business even playing out the rest of the year. I look up, I was like, why is Draymond back in the season ain't over yet? This ain't next season.
But
Draymond is trash. Draymond is a bully.
He is a bully.
Real bully.
I can't stand him.
Every team needs a bully.
No.
Not that kind of bully.
He's a dirty player too.
No, yeah, he's very, very dirty. Very dirty. And the reason he's a bully is because he know who he can get away with that shit with. He ain't finna pull on Bam Adebayo like that. He ain't finna pull on Giannis like that.
So he know who to try to.
Morant like that, probably scared he gonna get shot.
Then why you gotta talk about that? That's the home team, man. We can't be talking about.
That's my boy. Boy.
He want to be a thug so bad, don't he?
Dude, stop.
Oh man.
Stop it.
And you are a 2-parent household. Did you go to private school?
Man, how that you in the club?
And then he don't even hold it like a real thug. He's like,
hey, Miss Ja. What are you doing right now? Stop.
No muscle awareness, just
right.
I got a gun. Stop it.
Stop.
You grew up in the house and your daddy came home at night, so stop playing.
Absolutely. Mama didn't make her no better. Small and Memphis in foot action or Foot Locker somewhere. Athletes Foot somewhere arguing with an employee, first of all, why are you in the mall? First and
Right.
foremost. Secondly, why are you calling your son? And it should have been somebody in that camp should have had more sense to be like, hey, this ain't a good idea.
Right.
Send me how I'll go down. Send security, call the cops, whatever. You down there arguing with somebody, arguing with a 16-year-old.
Ain't that crazy?
Out of here. We didn't got all
Somebody
off
who
topic.
just learned how to drive. That's who you're fussing with. A new driver.
Like, shit crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. But I guess if you're the man of your family, I guess that's what they call on. Apparently, didn't call your husband to come down there, but called your
Well,
son.
is he the man of
Right.
the family? He got a daddy.
He's the breadwinner for sure of that family.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
He's the breadwinner. So if anything, you should protect the money. Nothing else. You always protect the money. That's why Michael Vick went to prison. We ain't learned nothing from that. Mike Vick had no business going to prison. Dude should have took that charge.
Right.
Hey, Mike, I'm gonna go down there lay down. Dude probably wouldn't even got no time over some dogs. Man, anyway, that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother podcast.
But you should protect them. Yeah, you should protect the money at all costs. But she shouldn't have even called him. Of course he gonna go. He's young, and it's his mama. My mama called me. I'm going.
Right.
Yep, that's
it
true.
wasn't even a situation serious enough for. I mean, the whole thing shouldn't have jumped off in the first place. But I digress.
Right, it shouldn't have happened.
Before we go, man, I want to ask y'all this question, man. I want to shift this thing over. Obviously, the state of Tennessee passed a law that allowed teachers to carry in school. And of course, there's been quite a few school districts basically saying they're not going to impose the law. They're not going to do it. How do y'all feel about that? I know y'all believe it's just something that's really stupid. It's a stupid law.
That's a horrible idea. That's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
So look, I say it all the time. Stand on this. Lawmakers want to change the laws until it's one of their kids that gets shot in school. They don't care about that because it's not their children.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their children, nor are they children whose parents' beliefs line up with theirs. So until something, and I hate that. I don't want to see another child murdered in school. Period. But until it hits home, it's not a problem until it becomes a problem. Once it's one of their children, it's hit, then it's going to become a problem. Okay, now we need to do something about it. But that's actually, I'm not going to say it's going to compound the problem, but that's going to cause its own set of problems. Teachers don't have any business walking around with a 45 on their hip. They trying to teach. Now they got to worry about teaching and being a security guard. What kind of shit is that? If I'm a child, if I'm a grader, a third grader, I think I'm distracted by the street sweep or this oo-wop on my teacher's hip. Stupid. It's stupid. They felt like they had to do something, and because the pressure was on them to do something, and that's what they came up with. Because the NRA pays big bucks, and unfortunately, like I said earlier, protecting their money, protecting their interests.
Yeah, that's stupid, man. I mean, you sacrificing kids to protect your own interests. That's
It's
stupid. Monica, what about you?
Well, this is a great question, Darius. I thank you for asking it because we are having an event this Saturday at Greater Missionary, which is located off of 405 Ringo Road. And it's going to start promptly because we have like 3 events that day at 12:30 to 2 p.m. We have a phenomenal panel group that is going to talk about the arming of teachers. And the topic is it a necessary measure or a step too far? And the interesting thing is people are very reactive to things. So we were so happy. Oh, well, Montgomery County said no. Montgomery County actually didn't say no. Dr. Luna, who is the director of schools, it didn't even go to a vote for the school board. She said no. And the sheriff said no. Well, as we know, Dr. Luna does not guarantee to have that job come August. So if you get somebody, you fire her for whatever reason, you get somebody that does want it, the director of the schools can let the sheriff know, hey, I support it, and it's a go. There was no vote. So it's like, well, why are you guys having this panel when Montgomery County said no? It's like, no, one elected official, one appointed by the school board. They said no. So all they're doing is kicking the can down the road. They want to arm teachers, but this is an election year. So they want to wait until November, get the school board members, because we got 3 school board races up. So they can push back if they don't like, hey, we want guns in school. We need to fire Dr. Luna because she said she doesn't want guns in school. And she's fired. And you get somebody in there that does want the arming of teachers, and that's what's going to happen. I have a lot of girlfriends that are veterans that, and I'm not speaking on their behalf, that are teachers. And they have said, like, that's not a responsibility today. They want to bear as veterans. One coach, I'm not going to mention him, but he said, he's a football coach. He said, man, I got PTSD. You want to give me a gun? Because they're like, oh, the veterans would be great, at carrying weapons and teaching and doing everything else. But the thing that I found out going to Representative Glenn's town hall on Tuesday was, do you want to know how many teachers were armed with the Covenant shooting?
How many?
2 armed teachers, and that child was still able to go in there and murder 6 people. So you being armed with a small arms, and they come in there with an assault rifle, how's that going to end? Unless, I don't care if you're a sharpshooter. If they have an assault weapon and all you have is a handgun, who going to win that?
Oh, well, we know who's going to win that battle.
So I'm against it. I have not spoken to the school board because they really don't have a vote on arming. That's the director gets to choose. But I would watch very carefully. I would find out which school board members, the 3 that are running, ask them, what are your thoughts on arming teachers? And I bet you one out of 3 is going to say, yeah, we should arm teachers. Like, some of them just started making $50,000 last year.
Right.
They don't get paid enough for this.
And not only that, but teachers, listen, again, you dealing with kids all day. We all know teaching is a stressful job because you got to deal with the kids, then you got to deal with the parents, and you got to deal with the administration. It's very, very stressful. And then you want them to arm them. Listen, I get it. You talking about they got to go through these requirements and training and all of that. But let's just be honest. Most of them probably don't even know how to hold a gun, one. Okay. And then you want them to be ready when something like that, hopefully nothing like that happens, but you want them to be ready when something like that happens. They ain't gonna know what to do.
They're going to be afraid. And the first things they're going to do is protect. If there is an active shooter, God forbid, those ladies, even the veterans, some of them, they're going to be in shock. they are going to protect the kids. They're not going to go out there and engage with somebody with an assault rifle.
Yeah. Who wants to
And
do?
my question is, if there's a black teacher that is the hero, the shero, and she goes in and lays him out, you know, is she going to receive the same treatment in this county as a white teacher? We had a hair pulling incident where we see that there was disparities in the punishment for the teacher. So I don't know that, you know, who's liable if she kills somebody or kills a child when she's trying to shoot the shooter.
Yeah.
So it's too much of a risk, and I'm 10 toes against it. And I'm pro 2A. Just most people know I carry wherever I go, churches, everywhere I go. So I'm pro 2A, but this is not a way to protect our kids. It's a liability issue.
I agree. Oh, Ron, I think you're breaking up I think you're breaking up. And we got you breaking up real quick. Well, why would I get him back? I don't know. When I saw the clips, you know, them talking about it, the some of the officials and everything like that. Let me see if I could. Hey, Ron, trying to see if I can mute him real quick. I ain't got my thing real quick. Yeah, it's still going real quick. Hold on.
It is.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I just muted his mic. Yeah, I just muted his mic. But yeah, like I was thinking about my daughter and everything like that, and I'm thinking to myself like, I don't want to put that responsibility on my daughter's teacher to do all of that. No, I want you to protect my daughter, and you know make sure she's safe. But I don't want you to play hero neither. You know, get those who are trained, get those officers who are trained. You know, make sure all the kids are safe. One, now if it's a principal or something like that who's, you know, like you said, probably a veteran or, you know, probably who was a cop at some point in their life, okay. But in terms of these school teachers and they already stressed, you know, don't know how to hold a gun, don't know how to fire a gun, you know, they ain't gonna have no assault weapon in school and things like that, because you know, we already know what happened with these school shooters. They come in big boy
Full battle
toys.
rattle.
Right. So I don't want any teacher to get put in harm's way because we have elected officials who don't have the good common sense to say, hey, listen, maybe it's best that we could put another officer in the school, right? Just to see, just to make sure that the school is really secure. All right, I get it. You have they're testing out new detectors at the high schools, like even here in Clarksville, they're testing out the new detectors. But even with that, that's not going to stop an active shooter. When they want in, they're going to get in. You know what I mean? And
No
you
girl
don't know
shot
where
the
it's
glass
coming.
out.
Yeah, shot the glass out. So it's kind of like, you know, it's not going to stop anything. So I just feel like common sense, common sense has went out the window, doesn't exist anymore. Uh, you said it perfectly. It's not their kids, so they're not really thinking about their own and stuff like that. You know, and here's the thing: it can happen at a public school, it can happen at a private school.
It happened in a private school.
It happened at a private school in Nashville. So all I'm saying is, by the end of the day, please don't put teachers in these positions.
Right.
They already stressed enough. Please don't put them in that position because you don't want to hear like, oh well, this teacher had a firearm, but something bad still happened to her. That don't mean nothing. She ain't got no bulletproof vest. What you gonna do? Trying to hurry up and put the bulletproof vest on, and you gonna have them walk around bulletproof vests all day? Like, come
And
on
that
now.
wears on your back. I had to wear one for 2 years.
Yeah. Let me
And then
see.
what happens if there's a negligent discharge? What do you do then?
I don't know. I don't know. Uh,
It's just too much of a
uh
liability issue. I say no. I'm glad that a lot of the counties have said no. I think we're very fortunate in Montgomery County because all of our schools do have school resource officers.
yeah.
But if you look at the thing that happened in Florida, look, that school resource officer sat in the car because he saw what the guy was carrying. Like, oh, you got an assault weapon. Let me call for backup.
Yeah. And they labeled him a coward for that.
I would have did just like I've been praying for him, like Jesus, please protect the ones you can, because I'm not going in there. If you got an assault weapon and all I have is a 9 mil, no, that dog don't hunt.
Ron, you got any thoughts? I know you was breaking up for a second. You got any thoughts?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we got
Yes,
you.
there you go.
I was having technical difficulties. But to add insult to injury, what about when, let's be honest, these kids are different. So what about when little Johnny decides he's gonna attack the teacher and take that gun off her hip and hold the whole class hostage?
They don't think about stuff like that.
No,
I
they
do.
don't.
I thought about it.
Well, they don't think about the what ifs.
Right.
All they think about is protecting their interests.
And if you compare the size, I go to West Creek in middle school, and I said I thought this was the high school. So these kids are a big size comparing the teachers to the students. Like, you're not going to be able to handle your own with somebody that's 6 feet tall and you 4 feet. These teachers are small, and then some of them are older. So it's just a perfect storm. So I pray that, they do not change their mind here in Montgomery County. I think that they're just waiting, because if you look at the comments, is, well, why? City Council person Wallace Red said, why not if they're trained?
You know how long you gotta be
Montgomery County
trained?
is red.
Yeah, Montgomery County is red. And you know how long you gotta be trained? You just can't train them for like a couple of weeks and thinking, oh, it's gonna be fine. No.
It's 40 hours. 40 hours is 1 week. 40 hours of training. 40
Told you
hours.
once again, common sense has left society, I guess, apparently.
Common sense isn't always that common anyway.
Ooh.
So
well,
yeah,
it's not common at all.
it's not.
Nah. I just want to get y'all opinion on that because me and my wife had that talk and we both agree, especially when you have a little one in school, so your first thoughts is always safety. That's your first thoughts when it comes to your kids in school, safety. So I just want to ask y'all that, and I really appreciate you guys chiming in on that. And since we're coming to the end of the episode, I just want to thank the both of you for coming on and having this discussion with me. I really appreciate that. Who knows? Maybe in the future, Ron, Monica, maybe y'all put something together and I'll come on and be a
Okay.
guest. Because you two are, I mean, y'all work well together.
Monica don't want this smoke. Monica don't want this smoke every week. She does not want this smoke every week.
Look, I didn't like agreeing with Ronald as much as this time. See? So yeah, we need a do-over where we can really argue.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Let me think of a topic.
Y'all pick a topic. Y'all want to come back on? I'll moderate everything.
Okay.
I'll let y'all go at it.
This was too pleasant.
Let Monica pick the topic. We usually don't agree, so let Monica pick the topic. Talk about a girl, Monique, again. See?
Well, this was good, Darius. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Problem. Really appreciate it. Happy to be on once again.
Yeah.
No problem, man. Any last words before we log off?
Hey, I would say let's watch the WNBA game. Even if you just cut it on, that helps the ratings. If you think it's boring, just cut it on and go to another TV set. Let's support them.
And this is coming from somebody that doesn't support them.
I'm gonna start this year. We're gonna start together.
No, we're not.
Iron sharpens iron.
No, we're not.
Those are my parting shots.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. It's been a blast. I'm looking forward to the next.
Definitely, man. And y'all make sure y'all tune in to Drinking After Dark podcast on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, man, or whatever you listen to podcasts. Please remember to follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And make sure y'all like and subscribe and tell your friends and family about the podcast, man. We're here to have fun, man. We're here to debate. We're here to have a couple of drinks, just to take the edge off, So if it does get heated, we can blame it on the alcohol. So till next time, I'm Darius from Drinking After Dark podcast, and we out. Peace.
Peace.